My fiancé was sleeping with my brother. For 8 months, my parents knew and said, boys will be boys. So I canceled the wedding I paid $47,000 for and left them with the venue bill. Mom called screaming, how could you embarrass us like this? All right, Reddit, this happened 3 months ago, and I'm finally in a headspace where I can write this all out. Fair warning, this is going to be long, but trust me, it's worth the read. I'm 31, male, work as a senior project manager at a construction firm. Good money, stable career, own my condo outright. My life was pretty much on track until my entire family decided to detonate it from the inside. My younger brother Tyler is 28, always been the family favorite despite being a professional screw-up. Dropped out of college twice, can't hold a job for more than 6 months, still lives with our parents rent-free. But he's charming, you know? The kind of guy who can talk his way out of anything and make people feel like they're the problem for being upset with him. Growing up, I was the responsible one. Scholarships, good grades, worked through college, paid my own way. Tyler partied, failed classes, got bailed out constantly. The dynamic was clear. I was expected to succeed quietly, while Tyler got endless chances to figure his life out. Our parents, particularly my mom Linda, have always enabled him. He's still finding himself, she'd say. He needs support, not judgment. Meanwhile, if I asked to borrow the car in high school, it was a whole interrogation about where I was going and when I'd be back. One example that stuck with me. Senior year of high school, I got accepted to 3 universities with academic scholarships, full rides at 2 of them. My parents' response was basically, that's nice, before immediately pivoting to worry about Tyler's failing grades. They threw him a you'll do better next semester party that same week. No celebration for me, but Tyler got cake and presents for maintaining a 1.8 GPA. I remember standing in the kitchen watching them fuss over him while my acceptance letters sat unopened on the counter. My dad actually said to me, you don't need validation for doing what's expected. Tyler needs encouragement. That moment crystallized everything about our family dynamic. I met my now ex-fiancée Bethany about 3 years ago through mutual friends. She was 29, worked in marketing, had her life together. Or so I thought. Attractive, smart, seemed to have her priorities straight. We clicked immediately, moved in together after a year, got engaged last spring. The engagement itself was something I'd planned for months. Took her to this mountain lodge she'd always talked about wanting to visit. Proposed at sunset with a ring I'd saved up 6 months for. She cried, said yes, posted it all over social media. The whole thing felt right at the time. The wedding was set for this December. We'd been planning it for 8 months, and because Bethany's parents died in a car accident when she was in college, and because I wanted to do this right, I footed basically the entire bill. Venue, catering, photographer, band, flowers, all of it. Came to about $47,000 total. Not chump change, but I'd saved up and could afford it. Breaking down the costs, $22,000 for the venue, a renovated barn an hour outside Denver. $12,000 for catering. We were expecting 180 guests. $5,000 for photography and videography, $3,000 for the band, $2,000 for flowers, $1,500 for her dress alterations and my suit, and another $1,500 scattered across invitations, decorations, and other miscellaneous expenses. Bethany had met my family early on. They loved her, especially my mom. Tyler seemed fine around her, friendly but not overly so. I never had any reason to suspect anything. Looking back, there were probably signs I missed, but hindsight's 2020. The problem started subtly about 8 months ago, right around when we booked the venue and started making real wedding plans. Bethany started having more girls' nights that would go late. She'd come home at 2 or 3 a.m. smelling like cigarette smoke, even though she'd quit smoking years ago. When I'd ask about her night, she'd give vague answers. Just hung out, you know how it is. Her phone became off limits. She changed her passcode, which had never been a thing before. We'd always known each other's passwords. When I commented on it, she got defensive. I need some privacy. We don't have to share everything. Then there were the times I'd come home and she'd quickly close her laptop or flip her phone face down. The sudden interest in going to my parents' house for Sunday dinners, which she'd previously found boring. The way she'd volunteer to pick up groceries or run errands that would take hours. She also started picking fights over nothing. I'd suggest we order pizza. She'd get irritated that I never wanted to cook anymore. I'd mention being tired from work. She'd accuse me of not making time for her. Classic deflection, but I didn't see it then. But the real red flag was Tyler suddenly having money. This guy who couldn't afford his own phone bill was showing up to family dinners in new clothes, mentioned getting a new gaming console, talked about going to concerts. When I asked where the money was coming from, he'd say he picked up some freelance work or won at poker. I remember one specific Sunday dinner where Tyler showed up in a new leather jacket that easily cost $400. When I asked about it, he just shrugged and said he'd been saving up. This from a guy who'd borrowed $50 from me the month before for gas money. My mom jumped in immediately with, "See? Tyler's getting his life together." I knew he just needed time. I'm not an idiot, but I also didn't want to be that paranoid boyfriend who jumps to conclusions. So I ignored the gut feeling that something was off. Big mistake. The truth came out 3 months ago in the most cliche way possible. I was supposed to be at a work conference in Phoenix for 3 days. Got canceled last minute due to the main client backing out. Didn't bother texting Bethany because I wanted to surprise her. Maybe take her to dinner, spend the evening together. Got home around 3 p.m. on a Wednesday. Her car was in our designated parking spot. Walked into our condo and immediately heard noises from our bedroom. The kind of noises that made it crystal clear what was happening. Opened the bedroom door to find my fiancée in our bed with my brother. They didn't even notice me at first. I just stood there for what felt like an eternity, but was probably 10 seconds watching them. My brain trying to process what I was seeing. The bed we'd bought together. The sheets I'd just washed on Sunday. My brother's clothes scattered across the floor next to Bethany's. Bethany screamed when she finally saw me. Tyler, displaying his trademark lack of shame, just sort of froze with this deer in headlights look. I didn't yell. Didn't throw things. Just said, "Both of you have 30 minutes to get out of my condo." After that, I'm calling the police. Bethany started crying immediately, trying to grab clothes while stammering out excuses. "It's not what it looks like," which is hilarious because what else could it possibly look like? Tyler, still naked in my bed, had the audacity to say, "Bro, let me explain. 29 minutes now." They scrambled. Bethany was sobbing, trying to talk to me while getting dressed. Tyler kept trying to catch my eye, probably looking for some sign that we could work this out like we had when he'd borrowed money or crashed my car or any of the other shit he'd pulled over the years. They scrambled out in 15. Bethany tried to hug me on her way out, sobbing about how sorry she was. I stepped away from her like she was radioactive. Tyler grabbed his stuff and practically ran out the door. After they left, I sat on my couch in complete silence for probably 2 hours. Didn't cry, didn't rage, just sat there. My dog Murphy, a 4-year-old golden retriever, sat with his head on my lap the whole time. Dogs know. Then I did what I do best. I made a plan. First, documentation. I checked our shared phone bill. Found months of texts between Bethany's number and Tyler's. Hundreds of them, going back 8 months. Downloaded everything. The texts were damning. Lots of "miss you already" and "can't wait to see you" and "he's working late again, come over." One particularly gut-wrenching exchange from 2 months prior. Tyler, feel bad about this sometimes. Bethany, don't. He's so boring. All he talks about is work and the wedding. Tyler, still your wedding lol. Bethany, for now. Screenshot, saved. Second, finances. Checked our joint account that we used for wedding expenses. Found several transfers to Tyler over the past few months. Small amounts, $100 here, $200 there, but they added up to about $3,000. So my wedding fund was financing my brother's life while he slept with my fiancée. Perfect. Third, I called my parents. Not to tell them what happened, but to ask if they could meet me for lunch the next day. Said I needed to talk about something important regarding the wedding. My mom sounded excited. "Oh, do you need help with last-minute planning? I'm so happy to help." Something like that. "See you tomorrow." That night, Bethany called 16 times. Texted another 40. The messages went from apologetic to angry to desperate. "Please just talk to me." It was a mistake. "Tyler means nothing. I love you. You're being cruel by ignoring me. We can work through this." Around midnight, she sent a long text. "I know you're hurt, but please understand this didn't mean anything. Tyler and I just connected, and it happened. I never meant to fall for him, but being around your family so much, spending time with him while you worked, we just got close. This doesn't change how I feel about you. Please let me explain in person." Blocked her number. Tyler called twice. I didn't block him yet. I wanted to see if he'd incriminate himself further via text. He didn't disappoint. "Dude, I'm sorry, but you were never around and she was lonely. What was I supposed to do?" Screenshot. Saved. "Come on, man, don't ignore me. We can fix this. She loves you. She really does." Screenshot. Saved. "Bro, please. I fucked up, but you're my brother. Family is family, right?" That last one almost made me laugh. Family is family. Sure. The next day I met my parents at their favorite restaurant, a local diner they'd been going to for decades. They showed up smiling, probably expecting me to ask for help addressing invitations or some other wedding minutiae. My mom was already pulling out her reading glasses, ready to be helpful. My dad, Richard, is 62, retired from a middle management position at an insurance company. My mom, Linda, is 59, worked as a teacher's aide until she retired a few years ago, both living on a fixed income, his pension and Social Security. Comfortable, but not wealthy. Ordered my food, waited for theirs to arrive, then said, I need to tell you something. The wedding's off. I caught Bethany and Tyler in bed together yesterday. Silence. My dad's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. My mom's face went through several expressions. Shock, confusion, then something that looked like anger, but not at who you'd expect. Oh, honey, my mom said finally. That must have been so upsetting to see. Upsetting. Yeah, that's one word for it. But you know Tyler, he doesn't always think things through. And you've been so busy with work lately. Bethany probably just needed attention. Are you seriously making excuses right now? My dad finally spoke up. What your mother means is that these things happen. Tyler's young, he made a mistake. But he's family. You can't just throw away your relationship with your brother over this. I actually laughed. Throw away my relationship? He fucked my fiancée. In my bed. For 8 months. Language, my mom snapped. We're in public. The couple at the next table definitely heard that. They both looked over. My mom noticed and lowered her voice, more concerned about appearances than the actual content of the conversation. You know what? Forget it. I didn't come here for your blessing. I came here to tell you the wedding is canceled and that Tyler and Bethany are both cut out of my life permanently. You can't be serious, my mom said. She made a mistake. Tyler made a mistake. But you're going to throw away 3 years over one incident? One incident? Mom, this has been going on for 8 months. 8 months of lying, sneaking around, using my money. Your money, she interrupted. That's what this is really about, isn't it? You've always been so uptight about money, always keeping score. Maybe if you were more generous, more forgiving, Bethany wouldn't have gone looking elsewhere. The victim blaming was unreal. So it's my fault my brother had an affair with my fiancée? Boys will be boys, my dad said. Like that explained anything. Tyler's always been a bit wild. You know that. You can't hold him to the same standards you hold yourself to. That's not fair. My dad continued. Remember when he crashed your car in college? You forgave him then. Remember when he borrowed that money and couldn't pay it back? You let it go. This is the same thing. He made a mistake. He's your brother. You forgive him and move on. Sleeping with my fiancée is not the same as crashing my car. It's all the same principle, my dad insisted. Family forgives. That's what we do. You think your mother and I haven't had our rough patches? You think we haven't made mistakes? That's what marriage is. Forgiveness and moving forward. Boys will be boys, I repeated slowly. That's your response to this? He's your brother, my mom insisted. Family forgives. That's what we do. You need to be the bigger person here. The bigger person. Right. Because I'm apparently responsible for managing everyone else's morals. And what about the wedding expenses? I asked, keeping my voice level. I've paid $47,000 so far. Who's covering that? Well, you can get most of it back, can't you? My mom said. Cancel things. Get refunds. Most of it's non-refundable. Deposits are gone. The venue alone is $22,000, and they keep the entire amount if we cancel within 3 months of the wedding date. My dad shifted uncomfortably. That's unfortunate, but that's part of the risk of planning a wedding. You knew that going in. Unfortunate. That's your take. What do you want us to say? My mom asked, getting irritated now. Yes, it's sad that you lost money, but Tyler is family. Bethany could still be family. You're letting your hurt feelings destroy everything. My hurt feelings. Yes, you're being stubborn and prideful. A real man would forgive and move forward. This kind of behavior is exactly why you've always had trouble maintaining relationships. You're too rigid, too unforgiving. No wonder Bethany looked elsewhere for connection. That's when I made my decision. Okay, you're right. I'll forgive Tyler. My mom's face lit up. Oh, honey, I'm so glad you're being reasonable about this. And I'll make sure he learns from this experience. What does that mean? You'll see. Thanks for lunch. I left cash for my portion and walked out. Got in my truck and sat in the parking lot for 5 minutes, breathing deeply. Murphy was at home, or I would have driven somewhere to clear my head. Instead, I went back to my condo and got to work. First call, my lawyer. I've known Marcus for years. He handled the purchase of my condo and had done some contract work for me before. Explained the situation, asked about the wedding contracts. He confirmed what I suspected, Most of the deposits were non-refundable, but there were some interesting clauses. The venue contract had a clause stating that the responsible party, that's me, could transfer responsibility to another party with written consent. The venue didn't care who paid as long as someone did. Are you thinking what I think you're thinking? Marcus asked. Depends. Is it legal? Technically? Yes. Morally questionable, but legally sound. If you can get signatures on a transfer document, the venue will honor it. That's all I need to know. Second call, the venue explained that due to unforeseen circumstances, I needed to transfer the contract. Asked if they'd accept my parents as the new responsible parties, since they were generously offering to take over the costs. The venue coordinator, a woman named Sarah, who I'd worked with for months on planning, was sympathetic. I'm so sorry to hear about your situation. And yes, we can definitely transfer the contract. We'll need a signed transfer form from both parties. Perfect. I'll handle that today. Spent the next hour drafting a transfer of responsibility document. Made it look official, letterhead, proper legal language, signatures required. Marcus reviewed it, made a few tweaks, confirmed it would hold up. The document essentially stated that I was transferring all financial responsibility for the wedding venue to Richard and Linda Harrison, my parents, effective immediately. The language was dense enough to look legitimate, but vague enough to be interpreted as a planning transfer rather than a financial one if someone skimmed it, which I was counting on. Then came the fun part. I needed their signatures. Created a group text with my parents and Tyler. Hey everyone, I've been doing some thinking. You're right that I overreacted. Family is important. I'd like to talk through this properly. Can we meet at your house tonight? My mom responded within minutes. Of course, I'm so proud of you for being mature about this. Come for dinner. 6 p.m.? I'll be there. Showed up at 5:45 with the paperwork in a folder, along with some other wedding documents to make it look like I was just organizing my files. Brought my laptop too. Told them I wanted to show them something about the wedding plans. My parents live in a modest 3-bedroom ranch in a suburb outside Denver, the house I grew up in. Tyler still occupies his childhood bedroom, which he's barely upgraded since high school. Same posters, same unmade bed, same general disaster area it's always been. Dinner was awkward as hell. Tyler wouldn't make eye contact. Bethany wasn't there, thankfully. My parents kept steering the conversation toward healing and moving forward as a family. My mom had made pot roast, my childhood favorite. Probably thought it would soften me up. I ate mechanically, letting them talk. We're just so glad you're willing to work through this, my mom said. That's the sign of real maturity. Tyler's very sorry, aren't you, Tyler? Tyler mumbled something that might have been an apology. And Bethany called me, my mom continued. She's devastated. She really does love you. She made a mistake, but she's willing to do whatever it takes to make this right. That's nice, I said neutrally. After dinner, I pulled out my laptop. So, I've been looking at the wedding contracts. There's a lot of money tied up, and I wanted your opinion on how to handle it. My mom leaned in, eager to help. Of course. What are you thinking? Well, most of the deposits are gone regardless. But the venue is the big one, $22,000. I was thinking, since you both want Tyler and me to reconcile, maybe there's a way to make this a family healing moment. What do you mean? My dad asked. What if we kept the venue date and had a family celebration instead? Not a wedding, obviously, but maybe a big anniversary party for you two? Your 35th is coming up. My mom's eyes actually welled up. Oh, honey, that's so thoughtful. But that's your money? I know, but family is more important than money, right? That's what you've been telling me. They exchanged a look. That's very generous, my dad said carefully. But that's a lot of money. I've already paid it. The venue is booked. It would just be sitting there empty otherwise. Why not use it? Invite the whole family. Have a real celebration. Make something positive out of this situation. That's actually a lovely idea, my mom said, warming to it. We could invite the whole family, make it a real celebration. Maybe do a vow renewal? We've always talked about that. Exactly. I just need you both to sign this transfer form, so the venue knows you're taking over the planning from here. I pulled out the document, positioned it casually on the table with a pen. It's just a formality. Basically says you're the primary contacts going forward for planning purposes. My dad picked it up, squinting at it. He's needed reading glasses for years, but refuses to wear them in front of people. Transfer of financial responsibility? Yeah, for the planning. You know, so they don't keep calling me about cake flavors and flower arrangements. This way they'll contact you directly for all the party planning stuff. Makes it easier for everyone. It was a gamble. But I knew my parents' weaknesses. They loved being seen as generous. They loved looking good to the family. And they were so eager for me to move past Tyler's betrayal that they weren't thinking clearly. My mom signed first, barely glancing at it. This is such a lovely gesture, honey. Thank you for being so mature about all this. My dad hesitated a second longer, actually reading more of it. This says we're taking over the contract. The planning contract, yeah. It's standard venue stuff. They need someone to be the point of contact. Since it's your party now, it should be you guys. But it says financial responsibility for the planning going forward, I said smoothly. Like if you want to add decorations or upgrade the catering or whatever, the initial deposits are already paid. This just makes you the contacts for any additional expenses or changes. My mom nudged him. Oh, honey, just sign it. It's a nice gesture that he's willing to let us use the venue. Stop overthinking everything. He signed. Great, I said, sliding the papers back into my folder. I'll drop this off at the venue tomorrow. They'll reach out to you about party planning. You've got about 2 months to organize everything. Left that night with signed paperwork transferring $22,000 worth of venue costs to them. Drove home feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Dropped the paperwork off at the venue's office the next morning. Sarah, the coordinator, looked it over, confirmed everything was in order, and updated the contract. Just so you're aware, she said, this means Richard and Linda Harrison are now financially responsible for the balance. If they want to cancel, they'll be subject to the same cancellation policy you were. I understand. They're aware. That was a lie, but she didn't need to know that. 3 days later, I sent a group email to everyone who'd been invited to the wedding. Kept it simple. Due to unforeseen circumstances, my wedding to Bethany has been canceled. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Please do not send gifts or cards. If you've already sent a gift, I'll be arranging returns. Thank you for your understanding. Then I called the other vendors. Canceled what I could, ate the costs I had to. The photographer was cool about it. Kept my $2,000 deposit but waived the remaining $3,000 balance. Said he'd been cheated on once and understood. The caterer kept $5,000 but gave me a future credit. The florist kept $1,500. Band kept $3,000. All told, lost about $18,000 in various deposits and cancellation fees, not counting the venue. Changed the locks on my condo. Bethany had gotten most of her stuff out already, but I boxed up what remained and left it outside my door with a note. Take it or it goes to Goodwill in 24 hours. She took it. Also left a note. I'm so sorry. Please give me a chance to explain. What Tyler and I had was real, but what we have is real too. I made a mistake. I love you. Please. Threw it away. Blocked her on everything, phone, social media, email. Set up filters so her attempts to reach me went straight to a folder I never checked. Tyler tried calling a few more times. Left voicemails ranging from apologetic to defensive. Look, man, I know you're pissed, but it's not like you were treating her right anyway. She was lonely. Maybe if you'd been around more, this wouldn't have happened. When I didn't answer, he showed up at my building. The doorman called up to ask if I wanted him sent up. No. Tell him I'll call the police if he comes back. Never heard from him again after that. About a week after the dinner where my parents signed the paperwork, I got a call from my mom. Hi, honey. So I've been thinking about this anniversary party idea. It's so sweet, but it's really too extravagant. I was thinking we should just cancel the venue and you could get your money back. Can't do that, Mom. It's in your name now. You'd have to cancel it. What? No, it's still in your name. We just signed that planning form. Transfer of financial responsibility. You both signed a contract making you responsible for the venue costs. If you cancel, you forfeit the money. Silence. Then, what did you say? The venue contract is in your name now. Dad's too. You're both financially responsible for the $22,000 balance. You tricked us. No. I gave you the opportunity to take over a venue booking for an event you thought was worthwhile. You signed a legal document transferring financial responsibility. All above board. This is ridiculous. We're not paying for a venue we don't need. Then don't cancel. Have your anniversary party. Invite the family. Celebrate your marriage. Or don't. And lose the money. Your choice. You did this on purpose. This is revenge for Tyler. No, Mom. This is me taking you at your word. You said family is everything. You said I should be generous. You said Tyler made a mistake and I should be the bigger person. So I'm being generous with my forgiveness. The venue is my gift to you. My way of showing that family matters more than money, just like you said. This isn't forgiveness. This is you being spiteful. Funny how it looks the same from different angles. She hung up. Called back 30 seconds later. Your father is furious. We can't afford $22,000 for a party. Probably should have read the contract before signing it. We're going to sue you. For what? You signed a legal document. There was no coercion, no misrepresentation. You read it, or should have, before signing. That's on you. I'm happy to show any lawyer the paperwork. It's all legitimate. She started crying. How could you do this to your own parents? After everything we've done for you? Everything you've done for me. Like covering for Tyler while he slept with my fiancée? Like telling me it was my fault for working too much? Like suggesting I should just forgive and forget because boys will be boys? He's your brother. And Bethany was supposed to be my wife. Guess neither of those relationships meant much to anyone but me. You're going to regret this. Family is all you have in this world. When you're old and alone, don't come crying to us. Don't worry. I won't. I hung up. She called back 6 more times. Didn't answer. Eventually blocked her number too. My dad texted later that night, "This is low even for you. Don't bother coming around anymore. You're not welcome in this family." Sent back, "Sounds good." Blocked him too. Over the next few weeks, I heard through mutual friends what was happening. My parents tried to get out of the venue contract. The venue refused. They'd been understanding with me about the situation, but my parents had no grounds for cancellation. They'd signed a valid contract knowing it involved financial responsibility. My parents tried to lawyer up. Got told the same thing. They signed. They're responsible. The document was legally binding. One lawyer apparently told them they could try to sue me for fraudulent misrepresentation, but it would cost more in legal fees than the venue, and they'd probably lose since the document clearly stated financial responsibility. They even tried claiming I'd forged their signatures. The venue had a copy of their driver's licenses from when they'd initially signed, standard procedure, and confirmed the signatures matched. Dead end. Finally, they just stopped paying. Went into default on the contract. The venue sent it to collections. Their credit got dinged. They eventually had to pay the $22,000 plus late fees and collection costs. Ended up being close to $26,000 total. I heard they had to take out a loan to cover it. My dad's retired and they live mostly on his pension and Social Security. That kind of unexpected expense hit them hard. They had to dip into retirement savings, defer some planned home repairs, and generally tighten their belts significantly. Good. Tyler lost his free ride around the same time. My parents couldn't afford to support him anymore with their finances stretched. He had to get a real job. Last I heard, he's working retail at a Best Buy and living in a shitty apartment with 2 roommates. No more gaming consoles and concert tickets. Bethany tried reaching out a few times through friends. Sent messages asking to talk, saying she made a huge mistake, wanted to explain. I never responded. Eventually, she moved out of state. Heard she's dating someone new. Don't care. As for me, I'm doing fine. Got a promotion at work 2 months ago. More money, better projects, corner office. Bought Murphy a fancy new dog bed because he deserves it for being the only loyal soul in my life. Started dating someone new about 6 weeks ago, taking it slow. Her name's Rachel. She's an architect. We met through work on a commercial project. She knows the story, thinks my family is insane, which is the correct assessment. She actually told me she respected how I handled it. Said too many people let family walk all over them, and that I'd done the right thing establishing boundaries. The condo is all mine. Decorated it the way I actually wanted without compromising. Got a home gym set up. Replaced the couch where Bethany used to guilt me about working too much. Repainted the bedroom. Fresh start. Life is good. My extended family tried to get involved at various points. Uncles and aunts calling to tell me I'd gone too far, that I was tearing the family apart, that I should apologize and make amends. My response was consistent. If you want to subsidize Tyler's lifestyle and my parents' enabling, go for it. But I'm done. A few cousins sided with me, actually. Said it was about time someone held Tyler accountable. One cousin, Jake, told me he'd tried to warn me about Tyler hanging around Bethany too much at family gatherings, but figured I already knew. Should have listened to him. We've stayed in touch. Everyone else can kick rocks. The best part? My mom tried to salvage the venue situation by actually throwing an anniversary party. Sent out invitations, tried to make it a thing. Hardly anyone showed up. Most of the family was so embarrassed by the drama, they wanted nothing to do with it. She spent $26,000 on a party that maybe 20 people attended. I heard about it from Jake, who went out of obligation. Said my mom spent the whole night bitter and miserable, complaining about me. Said my dad just sat there silently drinking. Tyler didn't even show up. Guess he couldn't face everyone after being publicly outed as the affair partner. Several relatives apparently asked my mom why Tyler wasn't there, and she had to explain the whole situation, which made things even more awkward. The venue coordinator, Sarah, actually reached out to me afterwards. Said it was the most uncomfortable event she'd ever worked, and she felt bad for how everything turned out. thanked me for being professional through the whole process, and said if I ever needed venue services in the future, she'd give me a discount. Small victories. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.